toxic masculinity.
Man who attacked Asian woman was on parole for killing his mom.
No, he wasn't on peril. He was on parole.
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 Parole, okay.
Parole. Yeah, this is a disturbing story. So, sorry, I'm not on the right thing. There we go. So yesterday I reported about this guy, and he walked up to this random Asian woman on the sidewalk and just knocked her down and just started kicking her head, like stomping on her head. This giant black dude and this tiny Asian woman. And then there's these guys in the store, and they were like watching, like, oh crap, what's going on? And then one of the guys in the store just shuts the door on this woman who's like lying on the street suffering. It was the most disgusting thing I'd ever seen. And then you asked me about it, and I told you that these people were at large, remember? And you didn't know what at large meant?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so now the guy's been caught. They found the guy. It turns out he was on parole for killing his mother. How do you get on parole for killing your mother? They used to kill people for that. They used to execute people who killed their mother. That used to be what we did in America. You'd get hanged, or you'd get electrocuted, or you'd get lethal injection. And now, what do? They let you go?
Release you.
The hell is that? I hate that the Washington Post has this article because it's so distracting. This guy who had some kind of allergic reaction to the vaccine, and it always pops up, and then I just can't stop looking at it. I'm reading these things. All right, let's go ahead and read this. Man busted for Midtown attack on Asian woman was on parole for killing his mom. Now, the reason we discussed this last time, and the reason I always discuss these black people attacking Asians, which is, it seems like I don't like discussing this race stuff. I don't like discussing it, but the left is blaming white supremacy for the Asian. You okay? For the attack on Asian Americans, and they're saying it's because of Trump and Trump's rhetoric, calling the coronavirus the China virus,
Chinese
virus, China virus, Wuhan virus. He called it all kinds of stuff, and they're like, oh, that was so racist. Even though they used to call it that as well. If you want to look it up on YouTube, there's a whole compilation of videos of, I think Tucker Carlson made it, of leftist reporters calling it the Chinese virus or the Wuhan virus. And then once Trump was calling it that, they were like, oh, it's racist. He's a racist. This is divisive rhetoric that's going to get people killed. And then, Asians are being attacked. They're like, look, this is because of Trump, even though it's all black people who are not Trump supporters. Anyway, that's why I brought it up last time. But we're bringing it up this time because this guy is out on parole because of leftist policies that let out all these criminals now.
But they caught him.
Yeah.
Can they ask him, hey, why did you attack Asian woman?
Well, we read about that yesterday, and the police officer who they're interviewing said that these guys genuinely...
I wasn't here yesterday.
We talked about it, though.
Oh, really?
You don't remember?
I was so tired.
That a lot of these guys genuinely believe that Asian people brought coronavirus here, and that's why they have to wear masks and stuff, and so they're pissed off about it. Yeah. It's weird. A man busted for the hate-fueled attack on an Asian woman in Midtown was on parole for killing his own mother back in 2002, authorities said Wednesday. He was caught after having killed his own mother in 2002, and he's out in 2021. So he was in prison for 20 years.
Okay.
Or 19 years. Or what, I guess that's... I mean, I don't know how many years. I don't know when he got out on parole.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll tell us. But... 21 years, 20 years, 19, 18, something like that. I don't know how long he's been out, but 20 years in prison for killing your own mother. I don't think so. Just keep him there. Just let him rot forever. That's crazy. Killing your own mother? Anyway, Brandon Elliott, 38, who lives in a nearby hotel that serves as a homeless shelter, was arrested early Wednesday and hit with a number of charges, including assault as a hate crime and attempted assault as a hate crime, police said. He was caught on video mercilessly punching and kicking the 65-year-old victim in front of an apartment building. See, I can't play these videos on this or they'll get removed because YouTube has these strict policies about putting violence. Even though we're condemning violence, they don't care. I wrote several times back and forth with YouTube to try to get a video like sorted out because I'm like, obviously I'm condemning violence here and people need to see the news. And they're like, no, this is still a violation of our policies, even though it's, anyway,
What
they're
if you
idiots.
what if you will show a video of a white guy?
Oh, I'm sure they get away with that all the time.
Okay.
If you show white people beating up black people, you know, the George Floyd video, George Floyd died. You watch him. I don't think he actually dies there because he was taken to the hospital, right?
No, I think he died.
Does he die there? And he's taken on the gurney because they don't know he's dead.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, but they show that incident over and over and over. That's everywhere on YouTube. That doesn't matter. But I can't show this.
Yeah.
You know. All right, let's see here. Okay, so he was yelling at her, F you don't belong here, according to cops and police sources. In April 2002, Elliot was charged with a murder using a kitchen knife to stab his own mother, Bridget Johnson, in the chest 3 times. God, Lord. In their East 224th Street home in the Bronx, according to previous reports. I think that's AOC's district. Anyway, the deadly attack took place in front of Elliot's 5-year-old sister. This guy is a crazy person. All right. Sources told the Post it's unclear what led to the slaying. Johnson, 42, died a couple of days later. Wait, what? Johnson, 42, died a couple of days later. Hold on a second. Okay. So yelling. Okay. So the 65-year-old victim. So how old is this guy? He killed his mother, and his mother's 42. Because he looks old. He looks like he's like 50 or something like that.
Well, he was in prison for 20 years now.
Oh, that's right. There's a little secret about me you guys don't know. I'm an idiot.
Such a funny subject.
It's not a funny subject, but me not figuring out that he's been in prison for 20 years. And I'm speaking about it all like smart, like I know what I'm saying. Okay, that's embarrassing. Yeah, definitely. Of course, you're a genius. See, that's why I have her. I'm like, well, I don't understand.
Daniel says, stop drinking Starbucks. Well, that's a mug that I got for free, and I put whatever I want to drink there.
I don't agree with not going to certain places because they're owned by leftists or something like that.
I stopped drinking Starbucks after this whole thing when they encouraged their employees to wear Black Lives Matter whatever stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would drink Starbucks before this, how I got this free stuff.
Yeah.
Now I'm like,
but see, I don't really agree with that 100%.
Coffee beans and tea leaf.
I'll tell you why I don't agree with the boycotting of businesses, because even if the executives at a business are going to virtue signal leftist BS, the employees aren't necessarily leftists. I'm sure they employ some conservatives. And so I don't want to hurt conservatives who happen to be working in a company that's owned by leftists.
You don't hurt them. They get their hourly rate.
No. You do, though, because if that company is reduced in some way, like they have to pay their employees less or they have to, get rid of some employees, then they're in a situation where you've got a shadow on you. You want to move this light? I can move it. Hold on.
I have the sun.
It doesn't. Yeah, but you've got like.
That's the camera shadow.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So anyway, we're going off on a tangent here. Don't read the comments. I always tell you not to read the comments. You read the comments anyway.
I wanted to.
Yeah.
What's this? But whatever.
All right, let's get back to it. All right. So Johnson, his mother was 42 when she died. He's been in prison for 20 years or whatever it is. Elliot was convicted of murder and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Only 15 years. So that's the thing now. I guess people don't get that long in prison anymore.
You can just be there for 20 years and that's it?
He was there for 15 years.
15.
Oh, no, he got 15 years to life. Sorry. So he could have been in there for life. He could have been there for life.
And because
he must have got off for good behavior.
Because of his good behavior.
Yeah, he didn't beat anybody up except Asians, apparently. All right, he was denied parole twice. Well, that's good. He should have been denied parole 3 times. First at a February 17th hearing and again in December 2018, according to State Department of corrections official. So actually, he was specifically, because he could, if he was really a good guy, if he was trying to be a good guy in prison and stuff like that, if he'd changed his ways, probably would have gone out in the first parole hearing. But he was obviously somebody who couldn't get out because he wasn't like an exemplary prisoner. But the following year, he was approved for release in September and sprung on lifetime parole 2 months later. I don't know what that means. Released in September and sprung on lifetime parole 2 months later. I don't know what that means. Okay, a spokeswoman for the Bronx District Attorney's Office said Elliott pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, but did not immediately have other details on the case. Elliott's rap sheet also includes an arrest for allegedly robbing his mother on July 2000. The pair had gotten into a squabble over money when he allegedly yanked jewelry from her neck and choked her, the sources added. So he's a real nice guy, this guy.
I know, right?
Yeah. The broad daylight beatdown on Monday stoked outrage after surveillance footage showed witnesses, including building workers, doing nothing to intervene. Yeah, that's what drove me nuts about that, actually. One of the building employees even appears to shut the door. Yeah, I told you guys about that. The victim, Vilma Kari, was on her way to church when unprovoked. She was on her way to church! Jeez. When unprovoked, Elliott allegedly kicked her in the stomach, sending her flying to the ground, and stomped on her head several times as she lay on the sidewalk. He shouted anti-Asian slurs at her and sneered, "You don't belong here," before walking away. Staff members at 360 West 43rd Street were suspended over their apparent inaction. I wouldn't have suspended them. I would have fired them, and I would have, I would have wanted to do a lot more, but if I would have owned that business, yeah, that would not have been a good thing to watch. All right, let's have a look here. She suffered a broken pelvis. This old lady that got knocked down and beaten up suffered a broken pelvis and was taken to the hospital. She was released the next day. She's a Filipino-American, according to Philippine ambassador in the U.S. to the U.S., Jose Manuel Romualdez. Elliott is expected to be arraigned in Manhattan Wednesday. Blah, 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 blah. All right, I don't care about the details of this. That's terrible. He killed his own mother out on parole. He shouldn't have been out. I'm actually glad that this happened and it wasn't something much, much worse, because it was serious enough and is outrageous enough that he was definitely going to prison, hopefully for a very, very long time, hopefully for the rest of his life. But this Asian woman, hopefully she will recover and everything will be fine. She's Filipino. She's not even Chinese. Filipinos don't even look Chinese. They don't even look remotely Chinese. I mean, I can understand if they're Japanese or Korean. It's hard to tell the difference between Japanese, Korean, and if you're going to be racist, at least be accurate. Anyway, but it's kind of a good story. This guy who should not have been out, because he could have done something much worse. I mean, it might have been much worse had this not happened, and he would have been, continuing out in the public for longer. So, what's this woman's name again? Let's see here. Vilma Kari. Vilma Kari, thank you. You have done a great service. You have made a great sacrifice, but for the rest of us, we're safer for your sacrifice, getting this guy attacking you. So, yeah, that's a sad story, but, I think that at the end of the day, it was for the best. The guy will go to prison, hopefully for the rest of his life. We'll never have to deal with him ever again.
I do have a question. What is pelvis?
Like hips, like your hip.
That's terrible.
So she landed probably on her butt, right? But real hard. Because she's old, she's like 60, 65, I think it was. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Shall we go on to the next story, darling?
Yeah. AOC is furious that reporters are referring to the border search as a search.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say
search is racist?
I guess. She's saying that it's like a military language, which isn't true. Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.